Hey guys, welcome to Juicy Tea, where I read out the best stories on Reddit, so you don't have to. The funny, shocking, and satisfyingly juicy. Today is Antiwork Monday, with a few stories that will help you get through the week. This first post comes from the BestofRedditorUpdates subreddit, posted by Lethally So. My boss followed me on my lunch break. We only go into the office on Thursdays. Since I live out in the sticks, I usually run errands on my lunch break, so I can get better deals on groceries and booze, etc. that I normally wouldn't get in my small town. I walked out of Target today and saw my boss's car at the back of the parking lot. You cannot miss this thing. He drives a bright yellow Kia Soul with black stripes. The guy's driving a freaking Bumblebee. Anyway, I thought it was a little weird, but I also thought, maybe he needed something at Target too. Then I ran across town to get some way cheaper gas and saw him pull in through the parking lot, then leave. Okay. Next stop, the liquor store, for game night and weekend. I walked out and his car is behind the store, barely visible, but there. Dude is a recovering alcoholic, so this felt really weird. Since I was out of time, I drove back to the office, noticing that he was 2-3 cars behind me the whole way. I just sat down in my cube and he walked in 5 minutes later. Is this weird? I mean, I have a 1-hour paid lunch break and I'm allowed to leave the property and basically do whatever I want to, but still, I feel uneasy. I don't know what all this is about. Should I say something? See if he follows me next Thursday? Update. I just wanted to add a couple points for clarification. My boss is retiring. His last day with the company is December 15th. My boss is also a hardworking man. I've never known him to be unprofessional in any way. That said, there was just something about this that left me feeling very uncomfortable, and you should always go with your gut. So, I emailed his superior after hours and explained my side of the story. Before doing so, I outlined and included a tentative work from home schedule that will allow me to not be back in the office until he's gone. My proposal was accepted, and I have a Zoom meeting with my boss's boss, her boss, and a rep from HR this morning. I've been told to not engage with my boss until this meeting has taken place. The very fact that this is moving this quickly gives me pause. I begin a new position within the company January 2024, which will render me permanently remote, so I won't be required to work in the office on Thursdays if I so choose. Even though he'll be retired, there will be no chance of running into him at the office if he stops in to visit or whatever. Update 2. After my meeting, I've been advised that this is not an isolated incident. At least one other employee complained, 8 years ago, of unlawful/threatening behaviour in the workplace. I've also been advised to seek my own legal counsel if I want to press charges. I do not, but I'm contacting an attorney to look over some documents I've been asked to look over and possibly sign. The company will cooperate with me, receipts of purchases and activity during the alleged times of harassment, and will cooperate if I want video evidence. I'm being fast-tracked into my new position, and my boss is being encouraged to take an early retirement. Due to legalities that may or may not move forward, this is all I can comment on. I'm saddened at this turn of events. I've busted my butt for 12 years to get where I am in this industry. I intend to move forward with my career and life. Peace, friends. Nah, this can't be real. HR doing their job and protecting staff? Definitely fake. Our next post comes from the Antiwork subreddit, posted by DannyBoy9809. I gave my 2 weeks notice and got cursed at. I've been working at a mum and pop company in New York City for a year, earning a meager $40,000 annually. For context, this company generates over $30 million in revenue, yet offers no benefits, a toxic work environment, and no work culture. The poor warehouse workers, who are mainly Hispanic, are treated like slaves, and it pisses me off. In addition, the owners, who are pushing 80, would police the office workers from speaking our native tongue to prevent gossip. Yesterday, I finally decided to quit after landing a fully remote job offer that's more than double my current salary and includes benefits like a 401k and health insurance. I'd handed in my 2 weeks notice, but my manager had a shocking reaction. She cursed at me and accused me of using the company as a stepping stone in my career. Isn't that the usual excuse they use for a lack of financial compensation though? You'll get so much experience working here, but don't you dare use that experience to land another job. This is so effed up. You're effed for doing this to us. You're effing using us as a stepping stone in your career. Personally, what you're doing is so effed up and manipulative. I used to respect my manager, but now I'm unsure if I should stick around for the 2-week notice period. The vibe in the office has turned completely hostile, and management hasn't addressed my resignation yet. What should I do? Should I endure 2 weeks or leave immediately? I'd appreciate your advice. I actually came across another story, which I think is the perfect answer to this. Posted by Adventurous Try 5013. Literally no point in giving notice anymore. So I, 31 female Canada, have realised over the course of my career that giving notice, whether it's 2 weeks, 4 weeks, or none at all, always ends up with your managers bitter as F and unhappy with you. This isn't just for retail or hospitality. I've only ever had corporate jobs, and this has been my experience at every single company. I just recently gave my employer a 4-week notice. I did it because I liked my team leader and felt bad for the team. I assumed that my team leader and I were in good, even friendly terms, so I could work my notice period quietly, with no drama. Boy was I wrong. Literally, as soon as I declined the counter offer, a measly $6,000 a year increase, my formerly friendly team leader became ice cold. I had no interest in staying, and she knew this as we worked in financial services and my passions lay elsewhere. So, once I got a job offer for my dream job that paid 2.5 times my current salary, I took it happily. Now my team leader expects that I'll do the same level of work, which is laughable because I was working 60 plus hours a week previously, and that's just not going to fly now that my end date is approaching. Keep in mind, by the way, I'm still doing my job, just not going above and beyond like before. And the way management is reacting, you'd think I took a poop on the company's computer. It was ultimately my mistake too, as I was stupid for giving such a long notice. I realise now, after years of going through managers switching up on me after resigning, that this idea of burning bridges is a fallacy. Employers want slaves. Whether I quit on the spot or give them 2, 4 or even 6 weeks notice, they're still pissed off at me and view me as a traitor and will use my remaining weeks to pile on a ton of work. I can second this. Don't be like me, kids. Always put yourself first. And if you think you know your colleagues, you don't. Nobody will remember all of your hard work. They'll only remember you leaving them and treat you like scum until your final day. Sincerely, someone who is very tempted to just walk out today. Lol. You know it's bad when even a Canadian is done being polite. Our next post comes from the Malicious Compliance subreddit, posted by Irritating Farquo. So you're claiming I defrauded the company by booking an extra 3 minutes? No problem. I worked for a water company for 25 years and was one of their most productive repair crews. That is, until the new manager, let's call him Mr. Numbnut, started. We had a monthly rota. We were on call for 1 in 4 weeks for emergency repairs out of hours. On the day in question, I started work at 7:30 AM on Friday and finished work at 3:15 AM Saturday morning, so a pretty long shift. I get to work Tuesday morning and get called into the office by Mr. Numbnuts and informed that according to my vehicle tracker, I left the yard at 3:12 AM and not 3:15 AM, which is an attempt to defraud the company. As you can imagine, I was absolutely fuming at this level of BS. I told him that at the time, I was covered in mud and sweat and just wanted to get home after completing a monster shift for the company. And he was genuinely making a shitstorm over 3 minutes. He said he was making me aware that I could get fired for it. Cue Malicious Compliance. I said, if we're going to be this petty, you can take me off the emergency contact list for extra cover. And I won't be starting 20 minutes early each day either. I'll now be clocking in at exactly 7:30 AM, and I should be heading out at exactly 5:30 PM. No deviation whatsoever, and you can explain to your bosses why productivity is down, and why you're struggling to get coverage for emergencies. Then we'll see just how important your 3 minutes are when they're costing the company money. Little did I know that the guy's bonus was related and linked to our productivity, which tanked after that, because all the other gangs followed my lead, except the brown-nosed gangs, obviously. 3 weeks go by with an absolute shite show in customer service complaints about their work not getting carried out in a timely manner. My productivity dropped from 7 jobs per day down to 4. Mr. Numbnuts got called in by his bosses to try and explain what the F is going on. He tried to spin some BS story that turned all the guys against him for no reason, and that this was the result. Little did he know that I actually trained his boss when he first started at the company 15 years before, and wanted to come in and find out what we do and experience how hard the job is. He surprised me by working a full month on the repair crews before going back to the office. Anyhow, the boss calls me in to find out what's really going on. So I explained how he used the tracker to monitor what time I left the yard, and that I'd guesstimated my finish time and overestimated by 3 minutes because I was absolutely knackered by working a shift from hell on call. Conclusion: Numbnuts was let go for misuse of the tracking system, as it's only supposed to be used for emergencies, not monitoring, and we had our on-call system reviewed to cut the hours we were having to work. Posted by UBT400. Boss caught wind of a coworker wanting to open her own business. This happened years ago. I worked at a liquor store, and my boss at the time was one of those "we're like a family here, and we look out for each other" type guys. Okay, for any younger viewers, when an employer says this, what they actually mean is they'll ask you to go above and beyond the responsibilities in your contract. But if you get sick or need time off for anything, they'll say you're letting the team down. Just so you know. Okay, back to the story. Needless to say, that was all BS to get employees emotionally invested in the store to be taken advantage of. One of my co-workers, a manager, wanted to open her own business. If I'm recalling correctly, it was for private mixology lessons for cocktails and whatnot, where short videos would be taken for social media promos. So, when my boss heard her talking about it in passing, he acted all excited for her, encouraging even. He wished her luck and told her to reach out to him if she wanted friendly business advice. A few months later, coworker began the process of taking the leap and went to apply to trademark her intended business name, which she soon discovered was already owned. Purchased fairly recently, actually. Her business name was going to match her current Instagram tag, which has a decent following for her independent posts already. It was a unique name as well, so she was confused as to who the hell bought the rights. She hadn't told anyone her business name because she wasn't sure back then when she started talking about it. It was our boss. Our boss bought her business name idea without her even telling him. He just guessed that she'd use her Instagram handle. Coworker approached him, asking why would he do that, and he claimed he grabbed it on her behalf for safekeeping or something weird like that. She asked him for the rights to be transferred to her so she could start the process of applying for everything needed to start the business. He quoted her triple the price he paid for it initially, citing the name's value was in demand and therefore more valuable. So much for family. And remember, they need you more than you need them. I post new content every day, so subscribe for more juicy tea.